All right, welcome everybody. It is June something, 15th, payday. Hey, good day. And
Payday.
hope that put a smile on your face. I have been very busy the last, this is day 4 of an online seminar taking with my daughter, Sophia, Science and Spirituality with Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, Joe Dispenza, oh my God, the lady who wrote The Field, Lynn McTaggart, just a plethora of speakers. And it's been nothing short of, you know, for those of us who study this work, it's like a reminder, but they're always adding to this and really enriching the experience. And this has been such a phenomenal 4 days, and I've got 3 more days to go. I think it's still Friday, so maybe more. I just want to encourage anybody who is interested in taking your life to the next level. And I say this because it's a call to action. Today's presentation by Bruce Lipton really knocked me off my feet. He talks to himself when he does a presentation. It's interesting. So I asked, and so he's talking to himself, and then he's answering his own questions and so forth as he's presenting, but he's brilliant. And there was something he took us through, was the evolution of the species, the evolution of consciousness. And what was interesting was it started with an explanation of how a cell, particularly a cell membrane, is actually the brain of the cell, because it's the interface between the environment and the actual cell itself. And it takes information from the environment at a biological level and a molecular level and converts it into an input-output. And so he drew the parallel that it is in fact an exact replica of a silicon chip. Exactly. What they do as an individual cell is exactly what, so he equates that then to the intelligence of a human being, or the consciousness, more specific. Consciousness itself is a function of our ability to respond to the environment, to measure, become aware of, and respond to the environment. And what it requires is membrane. So the limitations of the development of membrane essentially became the limitations of the development of consciousness. And so in order for consciousness to continue to evolve, there were all of these mutations and evolutionary quantum leaps in the development of everything from those single cell organisms to what we now know as a human being. And so what he pointed out was the actual process before there would be a quantum leap, and it was brilliant. It started with the idea that this cell being maxed out, it would be maximized by the physical limitations of the membrane housing it in order for it to become aware. And so therefore the next step in evolution was for it to maximize its ability to function within those limitations. And once it achieved that, it maximized its consciousness in terms of its physical limitations and its functionality. And then the next quantum leap would be, well, how do I increase consciousness? The propensity of life to increase consciousness. And then what it did was it said, okay, well, what about we get all together and create a community of these individual cells? And then through this process of community, they created a collaboration and another experience, which was then housed within another membrane. And subsequently that created a quantum leap, and then the amoeba was emerged from that. And so, and the amoeba was a structure with filaments and so forth that could actually hold up like an umbrella the membrane so that it could create the maximum amount of surface area and therefore the interface with the environment. And that was that first major quantum leap from that individual cell to the amoeba. And then he pointed out, you know, you're 52 trillion amoebas. So take that to the next level with more organization, individualization through organs and so forth. But the idea was, what was the evolutionary step? And then he pointed out, where are we in the evolutionary process? Mankind, humankind.
Cutting out on us?
I'm dropping out on you? That's not good. Okay, not sure. Is it better now?
Out on us? We're hearing every other word.
Is everybody hearing every other word? Okay.
Say something.
Hello, hello, hello.
You're missing almost every other word.
Okay, give me 1 second. I can rectify
Sound
that.
is terrible.
Hold it, because you can't miss this. This is too important.
And the sound was terrible for others that were talking too.
Give me 1 second.
When you were talking, Bob, it was.
Honey, can you turn off all internet activity? I'm being computer everything. I'm getting interference. Oh yeah, okay. Thanks. Bye. Okay. Tell me if there's any improvement at all, guys. Any improvement? There is improvement. Okay. Yay. If that door is open, hang on 1 second.
Mike. No, you're picking up again.
Okay, now we should have
We
a singularity now. Okay, so where did I lose you? Oh my God. Anyway, let me just recap. The bottom line
Still
was,
cutting out. Oh, no.
I'm still cutting out.
Still skipping. Yeah, still skipping.
There is one thing I can do.
Whoever speaks is cutting out.
Hold on.
Others aren't muted if you would mute.
Even the leaders have challenges.
Well, what's interesting is I hear mine, but y'all coming in now.
Okay.
I found that in.
Otherwise, I have to reboot my system. How's this? Is this any better?
But it seems like even when other people talk, hanging at each other.
Say again?
Everybody's having the
Okay. You're not hearing me clearly.
talk more.
Pardon me? One person, Madeline, can you hear me?
Can you speak slow?
Mike.
Fine.
You only,
We can hear
We
you,
can
Mike,
hear
but the
you.
sound
Would
does
you-
not match your mouth.
the sound does not match my mouth. I'm afraid to go offline because then I might, actually, Roberto, you're co-host. I'm not exactly sure what to do right now. Okay, all the voodoo magic in the world.
You know,
Come on,
this
help me out here.
happened when-
Nerd likes that. All right, folks, I don't know what to do here. You're not hearing me, so the only thing I know how to do to fix that is to reboot everything, which means I lose this connection. Roberto, it is better?
Let's do that.
Roberto, is it better on your
That
end?
was the clearest sentence you've said, Mike.
Okay, well,
Keep talking.
As
soon as it gets better, it gets worse again.
as soon as it gets better, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the powers that be don't want me to help you with this evolutionary quantum leap in thinking. So I'm gonna try, because this is being recorded, I think.
And it's also multiple challenges.
It's terrible. It
Shall
could
we
be,
reboot?
Maybe you're going to record it, Mike. then
it
post
could be Zoom. It could be Zoom, because you guys are coming back at me intermittent as well. All right. Roberto, you got your PowerPoint ready? Have you got your PowerPoint ready?
It's actually worse.
Roberto, are you ready? I need to see you physically.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to ask you to
Yeah,
take
I'm
over
ready.
this call. I'm going to reboot and I'll come back.
Because
But let
you
me
cannot hear
do a quick introduction. Can you guys hear Roberto?
Can you hear me? Yes. Can you hear me now? No? You cannot hear me? Who say yes? Mary is saying
Same
no.
as Mike.
I'm talking. Can you hear me? Bonnie say yes. Jaco, you say yes.
I can hear you, Roberto.
You can hear me, right? Yes.
All right. So Roberto,
I'm not breaking up.
you are breaking up to me, but I need to reboot.
Yeah.
You are.
You are
I'm-
breaking up.
I'm going to stop my video so I can get a better sound quality. And let me
It's
just give you,
multiple challenges.
let me just give Roberto an intro here so that he can start, and I'll come back into the call. So he's a co-host right now. All right, Roberto is going to present something to you that he presented for
You
me
can
on.
mute all the others that are not.
All right, everybody just be quiet for a minute. Let me talk. Roberto is going to do a presentation right now that I first saw that Gustavo Gomez presented in Latin America. It's so important that my introduction was important because it set it up for why it's so relevant right now. I don't know if you're hearing me, but I know the recording is catching this. In any event, I wanted this presentation for everybody's benefit, so I asked Roberto if he would translate it into English. So he painstakingly went through every slide and translated it into English for you tonight. And he's going to deliver this presentation, which is really about the paradigms that are necessary to change for our business to evolve. And some will be subtle, but some will be less subtle. But our business, meaning our business model of network marketing or multi-level marketing, has to change in order to be more formidable, more adaptive, and more in line with what's going on in this next iteration of planet Earth. And I don't know if you get that, but there is in fact a new planet Earth emerging. And your point is well taken. So if I could ask everybody to please mute yourselves so that we don't have any background interference. We're going through a quantum leap in the human condition. Is everybody hearing me okay? Thumbs up if you're hearing me. Okay. We're going through a very massive quantum leap in consciousness. And the next phase of the evolution of consciousness, like that amoeba, is for the individualized cells to come together in a community and maximize their potential as a community. The community that we know as humankind is what needs to happen. So COVID, Black Lives Matters, this whole scenario that we're experiencing right now, being bombarded, forget about how it was caused. That's inconsequential. The how is not important. It's the why that matters. And there's two ways of looking at the why. The why could be, this is terrible. This is horrible. This is the worst. No, it's the pain that we've been living with on a subconscious level that's rising to the surface so it can be addressed, because until it's addressed, it continues to live and fester inside of the consciousness of man. And man must make a leap forward. Now, there's no more time to delay. Our very existence as a species is at risk because we've gone past the point of no return where our environment is concerned. And so we must come together as a species. Nikken has been one of the best examples in our lives as an organization working together, collaborating to create something better. A community of people, of like-minded people who want more for themselves, for their family, and for their community. We are 45 years, a beautiful story and a legacy, but it's not enough. What has to happen is now the planet has to make the quantum leap to this level of consciousness. It's not enough for us to be a community within the planet. We need to be a community for the planet. The whole thing has to change. And so we don't have the luxury of time to sit back and be passive about this or even think about it anymore. We need to really engage. And so I'm very interested and open to information that comes my way that can help us make a mental and emotional quantum leap. So I welcome change, even if it's painful, because the birthing process is always painful. But what happens when you give birth? The greatest of joys, the greatest of futures, and all that pain seems to be well worth it in the end, in hindsight. So the people who have given up their lives in this COVID-19 era are people who've given up their lives for the sake of consciousness, for the sake of waking up the rest of the world. I happen to be one who believes nobody dies without purpose. And so if there is purpose in life, there is purpose in death, and therefore I acknowledge those people, including Floyd, George Floyd, I guess is his name, George Floyd? Yeah, George Floyd, who has given us an awakening, awareness that we need to address. And Nikken and us as collaborators, as people who've worked together for years, some of you are new, we're embarking on a new age, most certainly. And Nikken has been there all along with this message of, which has been very consistent, but now it needs to be something that's more available, more accessible. And so the language that we use can be the thing that stops people from hearing us. I'll give you a simple example. You say the word God in the wrong context, and oh my God, it's Armageddon. Words mean things to people. Words are expressions. Words can challenge us. Words can change the way we see the world. I don't know if you're still hearing me okay that I got my video, but words are important. How we shape our thoughts and our ideas are important. The images that we paint for people when we're talking with them are important. And so if we want to become more accessible, if we want to become something that people can identify with more readily, then we have to speak the language they're more familiar with rather than trying to have them adopt a new language. That's just not going to happen. So this presentation that I saw, this is a business presentation, okay? I'm just going to tell you straight up, this is a business presentation, it's not a spiritual presentation. But at the end of the day, we're in business together. And if we're going to invite more people to join us in this business, we need to be able to communicate in a way that they can understand and relate to the message. So with that, I'm going to pass this to Roberto, who's going to do a fantastic job for us in helping us to understand those nuances that are becoming known to the Latinos through the leadership in Latin America. And this presentation was one of the kickoffs for this concept. So Roberto, go ahead, share your screen and take it over from here.
Okay, thank you, Mike. So I'm going to my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
We got it.
Oops. Okay, I'm going to put it in the presentation mode. I hope I don't lose you. You still see it?
We're good.
Yes? Okay. Okay, the only thing is sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, so thank you, Mike, for the introduction. As Mike mentioned, this was a presentation done by Gustavo Gomez a couple of weeks, 3 weeks ago. And it was something that was important for Latin America, but I saw the content since I've been working with the Latin American team for the last 3 or 4 months. And I think this content, it's for everyone. So I wanted to share it. So that's why I shared it with Mike. And then we translated it into English. And now here it is. So this is 100% made by Gustavo. I'm just the messenger and the translator. So the presentation is going to be like in Spanglish. So I hope you can learn some Latin words and Spanish words through it. So the idea is that in these last 45 years, we have built a belief system behind our business or behind our endeavor that maybe it's no longer useful. It's no longer useful, and that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to use the same format that why we need to change that language or why we need to change that paradigm and that belief system, what we need to change, and that means the paradigms, and how. And the how is going to be a Latin American example. So this is only for Latin America, but it works perfectly as why we have to change and what we need to change and how we're going to do it. So first of all, you need to know that, and I know you know that we have business have evolved, and COVID-19 has been a great teacher and as an accelerator of this evolution. So just for you to know that the digital industry was expecting this to happen in the year 2030. So now it's happening in 2020. So whatever you're seeing digital-wise and the way the businesses are evolving was expected to be happening 10 years from now. So we are 10 years ahead, and this is coming rapidly. So what are those changes? So what are those business models that we are looking at these days? So this is what we call trends. So right now we have exponential technologies. So technology is moving very quickly and it's transforming the businesses and even transforming the way we live. The consumers are highly connected. The world is smaller and smaller and smaller. So the world has been reinvented. So freelancing, entrepreneurship, working at home or from home, it's something that people were adapting in a certain pace. Well, now everyone needed to know how to learn how to work from home immediately. So these are the examples that I'm telling you that why everything is accelerating. The way to work with autonomy, the compound growth, and the high impact opportunities are right here. Even the crisis impact for a lot of companies that maybe they're gonna survive this COVID-19. So this is happening really, really rapid. And then there's a change, and we've seen this change from several years now, but now it's accelerating that the main focus and priority is human and social capital rather than the financial outcome. And you can see this way. With COVID-19, the first thoughts were, well, we need to take care of people. We need to take care of their health. And that's what we did in the first month, on the first 6 weeks. Now we are thinking, how are we going to recover our finances? And that's the way every single company is going to operate from now on. Think of the human and the social capital first. Second is going to be the financial outcome. So another big trend is the social internet. Of course, this is not new, but as I said, has accelerated very rapidly in these last 3 months. So today's social internet, has a community focus. So it's not something about selling or buying products, but really build a community. And it looks like I'm talking about Nikken here, but no, I'm talking about the social network. So users are more attracted to transformational endeavors and purpose rather than just products. So social commerce they have abundance of influencers, and word of mouth are the new tools. So it's really simple, right, to seek products these days. So people really want simple and immediate purchase experience. And Nikken has been working on this for several years from now. And now Nikken and us, we need to accelerate. And then this sharing economy and sharing knowledge. So this is something that it's beginning to be the new normal. So at the beginning, 5-6 years ago, when we saw Uber and Airbnb, we saw, well, this is kind of a trend, something new, something fancy. Well, this is accelerating very rapidly these days. So what happened to traditional businesses? Well, the traditional businesses, this is very simple because I know you understand it. It's the way that you own or loan capital, you invest that capital, a lot of money, you have fixed costs, and then you need a seller or people selling, looking for contacts. That's the traditional business. So we're going to question and we're going to talk about this later on, about what happened with the traditional business. What else is out there? So, well, just to mention that the traditional business is just started in the 7th century before Christ, when coins were invented. Before that, we're just trading off goods. Now we are buying and selling. And you know, this is the supply chain for a traditional business where you have a warehouse and wholesalers, a bunch of stores, advertising, a lot of money, advertising your products, and even wholesalers. There are a different number of wholesalers doing in this supply chain with a lot of investment. So this is the traditional business. But what happened now? We have the direct selling and network marketing. And I'm not talking about now. The direct selling started since 1870. So how it started? Well, direct selling started when there was a company just in one place. And then when you travel around different cities, you do, rather than doing and moving your factory and building new factories and stores, you have representatives with a catalog, and they just show the products to other people and then come back to the company and put an order. So that's how the direct selling started, and it started more than 100 years ago. And the other way was network marketing. The difference between this is that now we don't have a catalog representative, we have entrepreneurs. So they are the link between the company, that now it's a business partner, and the client. And this still has been here for more than 70 years, like from 1959. So this is not new. What is new, and when I say new, in the last 10 years maybe, are these models. The model of a marketplace, and a marketplace, it's been here since 1994, that is when a store owner put an e-commerce marketplace, connects with multiple sellers, and build what we can call a digital mall. So where a buyer can go and buy a lot of products in one place, even though those products come from different suppliers or different sellers, he or she can do it in one place. That's what it's called, a marketplace. And the new model that we have seen since 2008 is what we call the sharing economy, where you, as in the middle, you are connecting with all this digital era, with all the technology, you are connected a lot of people to one supplier or to one source, in this case of services or products. So these are all the models that they have existed in the last 100 years, we would say. So the new thing, or the thing that has changed in the last decade, is that now we have a customer-centric. We need to take care of our customer. So the traditional business still is, we would say, that has a focus on the customer, but it still has that burden of having to have big capitals, a lot of money invested, fixed costs. So the way they're progressing is really, really slow. And you can see it right now with COVID-19. A lot of traditional business are out of the market, and they're going to be out of the market in the near future when they open again the economy. So what happened with the future, which is right now, which is the network marketing and the sharing economy and the marketplaces? These are what we call smart businesses. These smart businesses is called this way because they really use other people's money. They use other people's contacts. You don't use your money. You don't need even to use your own money. And you just are in business. As soon as you have a good idea, as soon as you have something that people need, you can run a business with this, with very few investments and low fixed costs. That's why we call it the smart businesses, right? So what we need to learn on this network marketing, as our network to be best in class, is we need to learn from this new business models, talking about the marketplace and sharing economy. So some things that we need to learn are this: language, the way we talk, and Mike was talking about this right now. The way we talk is the same way we 20, 30, even 60 years ago when this network marketing model started. So we need to change that language and have the right language to really compete and be best in class. The speed of growth. these new business models, this marketplace or smart business that we call like the sharing economy, they are growing very fast. They are growing exponentially. So we want to learn that. We need to grow at that speed. So we need to learn how to have a better ability to attract people. And maybe it could be very different at the way we do it today. We need tools to learn what people need. So that's the way the marketplaces and the other smart businesses are doing it. They really are recognizing what the people are looking for. And advertising is a very important point. So we need a higher impact advertising at a lower cost. And you know, I know you have experienced this with Facebook and with social media, that everyone can advertise nowadays with very, very low cost. So we have to be best in class in doing this. And of course, we need to have exponential influencing tools. And we're going to talk about this influencing job that we need to do better as part of the paradigms that we need to shift. So, but Nikken right now, in Nikken, we have an advantage. So when we compare Nikken with the traditional business, the marketplace, and the sharing economy, we have a good, let's say, a good base. And the way we compare it, you can see this. Versus traditional business, in Nikken, you don't have high investments, you don't have risk, you don't have fixed costs. You are really a business partner. You're trained, and you train people to be an entrepreneur, and you can have short, medium, and long-term income. So what I'm talking here is what are our benefits, or the benefits we offer with our model against these three models. So in traditional business, I think it's crystal clear that we have that advantage. But even we have advantages versus marketplace and sharing economy. Even though they are moving faster than us, we have some advantages like this. No commission for service. In a marketplace, the multiple sellers need to pay a commission for their products to be advertised and be really on the marketplace. We don't need to do that in Nikken. We have immediate earnings and weekly payments that maybe you don't have that in a marketplace. We have multiple sources of income, residual income. So it's not always only about selling. We have other sources to earn money in Nikken. We have a purpose, and this is beautiful because this is, and we're going to see this in the new paradigms. People, and you have heard about millennials and all these generations that are looking for things to do with a purpose. Without it, don't talk with me about anything if we don't doing something transformative. So our business, it's already there. It's doing something beyond the sole consumption and just earning money. The clients that we have are ours, our clients. In the marketplace, you don't have your clients. The clients are of the store owner. So we are a wellness community, and we offer a lifestyle, which is far, far beyond any marketplace that could exist in this world today. And you have personal assistant and direct warranty, because the customers are ours, so we have this contact with them, which we don't have in the marketplace. You don't even know your customers. And we have this entrepreneurship model. So it's not only learning how to sell, but how to be an entrepreneur. So that's a difference, very, very important difference versus the marketplace, that you can have it in the sharing economy as well. Versus sharing economy, Nikken has these advantages. You own your own, sorry, I can't see this. Sorry, I need to move the window. There you go. Okay, so you own your business. In the sharing economy, the owner, the only owner is the one that started the business, like Uber, right? You have your clients as well as in the marketplace. The clients are yours. So we have a collaborative wellness concept, again, that is far beyond what sharing economy businesses are doing today. And we have, again, this entrepreneurship training. So you can be an entrepreneur, not only the owner of a small business. You can grow geographically and in size in terms of earnings. So these are some of the advantages that we have as Nikken versus these models, okay? Are we good so far? So let me share again. Sorry, I need to move this. Okay, so we have these big things that we have built in these last, well, I know some people have 20, 30 years doing this business, but there is something that we need to change. And that's why we need to change, I just showed you. The world has changed. The world is different today, and it's been different in the last 20 years. But with these circumstances that are happening today, definitely is far different. And the important thing is that these things that we need to change, there are something that have to be very related to the new economy. So think about it. It's not only a good idea to change the way we think, it's a must if we really want to grow exponentially. I want to be very clear on that. We are growing. We've been growing for years, but we are not growing at the pace of the other models like the ones that I showed you. So the idea is I'm going to show you 10 paradigms, 10 beliefs that we need to change in order to grow exponentially. So we have a very good fundamental, that is the 5 pillars of wellness, but now we have to do it better. So we have to leverage that what we have, changing these paradigms. So the idea is to tell you what are those, and I'm going to mention 10 of those paradigms. So the way I'm going to show you these 10 things that we need to change, or we suggest to change if we want to grow exponentially, are in this format. First, I'm going to mention the paradigm, that these paradigms yield linear unlimited growth. I'm not saying all paradigms are wrong. The only thing I'm saying is that if you really want to grow exponentially, as the new economy and the new business models are growing, we need to shift the way we think. In the middle, I'm going to mention what is the current environment that foster that change, of the why we need to change this. And in the third piece, I'm going to talk about the thinking, the new thing and the new belief, or the paradigm that we need to shift to foster that exponential growth. So let's go with the first example. Selling. And this is a good example because I'm not saying selling is bad. Selling is good. And even with Nikken, I learned in the past 2 years to love selling. But if you only sell, you're gonna grow. You're gonna have a limited growth. So why not only selling? Because nobody wants to be sold. Everyone wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. So the new thinking, the new way, the new belief is look for who wants to buy. Look for people who wants to buy. And this with the social network and the social media, that's happening. It's been happening for years. People know how to seek for things. People know how to get things very easily. So they don't want to be sold. They buy things. They know how to buy things. So the new way of thinking is focus on people who want to get our products, not who can buy them. And I'm going to be very thorough explaining this later. But that's the approach that we need to do. So rather than selling or training people to sell, and you know, when you train people to sell, you train them to deal with objections, to persuade, and even maybe you don't use the products, but it's okay. You're just selling the product. In this economy, and the way we need to do this, we need to be inspirational. So we need to build systems or a model that is inspirational and really have traction, so it can attract people rather than just putting in place a selling system. So the first thing we need to change is our concept of selling, or our unidimensional way of doing this by only selling. That's my message. and focus on people that really want what we have. And then I assure you, I don't know if Mike said this, but I always said this, people are looking for us. So let's get those people that are looking for us. We don't need to sell them. So second, the old paradigm, maybe it's not that old because we are still doing this. Maybe some of you are doing still this, register people to the business. Less than 10% and very far less. I don't know why Gustavo put 10. I would put 5 or less. Less than 10% want to start a business from scratch. They will say, that's the current environment, no time, I'm already employed, or maybe they own a business. We most of all, we have a employee mindset. So when we think about business, immediately we think about risks. We think about all the things that can be wrong and can go wrong. So it's not natural for us to think of a business. And people want short-term gains to start believing. And that short-term is related to the employee mindset. I want to work 15 days and receive a payment. Another 15 days and receive a payment. That's very, very short-term gains, right? So, but that's the current environment. So the difference is that we invite people to a community. We are really inviting them not to a business, even though Mike mentioned at the end, this is a business, yes, but this is not the way we approach people, at least not all people. So maybe you will find someone that is looking for a business, and maybe in these days there are people that they're looking for another way of earning money. So they are really a little bit more open to talk about business. But in general, people don't like to be sold like, I'm going to start a business. They really want to something better. And in this case, with Nikken, we can invite them to a community with like-minded people that we have something in common that is wellness, entrepreneurship, environment. At the end, it's lifestyle community that we are inviting people to. So that's the new paradigm, or that's the new way of thinking we are recommending. Third, the network marketing and direct selling. I'm putting this like a paradigm because remember, this has been for a while. This direct selling more than 100 years and network marketing 70 years. So there are all paradigms, all belief systems within these two models, which are still working these days. But one of the current environment now is that really this is a hated model due to the wrong approach and all the things that we mentioned. So people don't have a good prestigious about talking about network marketing and direct selling. And this is because the language that minimize what people currently do. A lot of people working in network marketing doing it wrong. It's saying the way they speak, it looks like you're saying that I'm wrong. If I have a job, I'm wrong. I'm doing the wrong thing. If I have my own traditional business, I'm wrong. So nobody wants to be told that he's wrong. And the same when you talk about this way, you're gonna be your own boss and manage your time. You're gonna become a millionaire. All those languages. It's the current environment in the way that people don't want to hear that, or when they hear that, they say no. I don't want to be a part of whatever you are suggesting. And of course, the words of being this a pyramid or thinking that few people can succeed. But let me tell you, I've been working in a pyramid for 30 years. And I could tell you that very few people can do it. So in the traditional business or traditional job, fewer people can really succeed than in these kind of businesses. But still, that's the thinking. They think that only few people succeed. And there's a reason why few people succeed, because few people believe they can succeed. But that's another matter. So the new paradigm, the new belief system should be, well, in Nikken, we have a sharing economy. We are part of this sharing economy. But we are different of the other network marketing companies because we have a digital business. So we know how to manage a contacts of network contacts, and we invite you to a wellness community, a concept that grows organically and exponentially when people start doing this as a community rather than as a business. So this is part of the things that differentiate us from other companies that are in network marketing and direct selling. So that's why I insist on having these new paradigms. And I want to mention as well that in Nikken, we have what we are playing an infinite game. I don't know you have heard about or you have read that book of Simon Sinek talking about the infinite game. And he explains very beautiful how the difference between companies that play at finite game versus infinite game. And I just identified that Nikken is playing an infinite game because our goals are beyond ourselves, are beyond a mark at the end of the year or of a quarter of the bottom line. We're talking about generations, and we're talking of passing this to other generations. So our game never ends. So that vision of an infinite game is the vision that we need to convey to the people we are inviting. This is to thrive and to grow, but this never gonna end. So that's the way, and that's the companies that are flourishing in these days are the ones that are not competing, but are playing an infinite game, that it's a purpose beyond themselves. So in these 2 or 3 paradigms, you can adapt that mentality to this. So 4, the traditional business model. What happened with the paradigms with the traditional business model? Well, a lot of people saying, well, I know how to earn money having a job or having my own business, traditional business. Well, let me tell you, the global economy has changed. The model is different. Now people are looking for small investment, less fixed costs, low risks. That's why you've seen a lot of companies growing with exactly these characteristics, not with investing a lot of money or having a big payroll. And again, COVID-19, it's a good teacher because those companies in the traditional model are suffering the most because they have big debts and they have big payroll that they need to take care. So I think a lot of companies are realizing that this new reality. So the new paradigm, I've already talked about it in the introduction, talking about why it's been working in smart modern business models, that network marketing or sharing economy, and the solution of the new paradigm, it's clear in here because I've explained those. So another very interesting thing, and I think you're going to understand this later when we talk about how in Latin America are using this new paradigm. The prices are not fixed. So the old paradigm is that the prices are fixed. Well, we're not looking at the prices that way. People are looking for collaboration and benefits and price. The price you pay for your products or for your service in Nikken, it fluctuates. You decide what you want to pay, and I'm going to explain that later. But that's the new environment. People are not fixated in prices. They are looking more for the benefits and the way they can collaborate. And exactly with this, Nikken has solved that the more you collaborate, the price is lower or your investment is going to be lower. So the new paradigm or the new way of thinking is the price is not fixed, it's variable, and it's based on the level of your collaboration. If you collaborate more, you can have a better price, or let's say you have to invest less or you have earnings. So in this way, when you don't see the price fixed, it's a win-win. You win, I win, everybody wins. And it's going to be clearer when I explain the how Latin America is doing this. The 6th one, the belief and the traditional way of selling a product to a customer, focusing on selling one product to a customer. So the current environment is that we have a power of contacts. We are in a connection era. We are all using our relational capital. There are no boundaries. There are no countries. It's the whole world together. And everything operates by recommendation. I can give you an example. Even when you want to go to a hotel, and you go to TripAdvisor and you saw all the recommendation or not recommending the hotel, you just don't go. Even if the hotel is a 5-star and the best in class and you can see the best of the best, if in the social media they say it's a crappy hotel, you don't go. So the power of the social media is here. It's not a fantasy, it's happening. So the new way of thinking in order to foster exponential growth is you have to start with the user and make an impact to influence more people. Don't think about one person at a time. You need to think about a community or group of people. So rather than selling one waterfall, for example, let's impact 10 families with 10 waterfalls, but through that first person that I contacted. So with the sharing economy concept. So we're using this sharing economy concept in every day, every single day we are connected with people. And that's exactly the way we need to do it. Connect with people who want to buy what we've got. So it's not about selling, it's just about finding the people that really want the lifestyle, to build a community, to have a purpose, and all those things that I have mentioned. And fortunately in Nikken, we have all of those. So 7, everybody goes to work. It sounds funnier in Spanish, but you will understand it. But for the Spanish speakers here, the paradigm that Gustavo put here is el trabajo porque toca. I need to go to work because everybody goes to work. If you ask people why you go to work, ask people why you go to work, I'm assure you that 9 out of 10 people are going to say, what kind of question is that? Everybody goes to work. That's a paradigm. So right now, the work is not, you just go to work because everybody goes to work, or that's the only way you can earn money. If someone answers something better than you have to go to work and start talking about needing money to feed their family. But today, more people want to go to work with purpose, to do something beyond themselves. So that's the new paradigm. I do this because it inspires me and helps me grow. When I find those things, and most of you, many of you maybe have kids that are millennials, and you know, they are choosing the jobs or the activity in terms of the purpose, of the contribution, of the community, of how many people are agreeing on what I do and what is the effect and the impact that I do. So it has to be a contribution and a transformative purpose. And you even can see it after COVID-19, companies that are not, don't have a transformative purpose are gonna die. And we started with this before when we were talking about being an environmental friendly and with all these things. Well, that it's in the past. That's a given. You have to do that. But be purposefully and have that transformative purpose. It's the new must if you really want to survive as a company. And I'm not talking only about network companies, network marketing companies, but any company. And again, COVID-19 has helped us understand that and accelerated that. So number 8, I can only influence my own life and my family's life. So thinking that the only way I can work it's for myself, it's the way we have been educated. We've been educated to thrive individually. And yes, this is the culprit is our educational system. So we think that the only people that we can influence is my own life and my family's. But we all can be influencers. Not to rule, but to inspire other people to be better. So in Nikken or in this kind of businesses, you don't even need to be a leader. And I know this sounds counterintuitive, but at the beginning, you don't need to be a leader. You just need to be an influencer, influence people that be part of this community. Later, if you want to grow a big business and go internationally, of course, you need to have skills to be a leader because that's the only you're going to earn that amount of money. So you can, in this new environment, you can really impact many lives. So you have to have that as the new paradigm to do this, because that's the way everyone is wanted to do this. And this is related to the seventh, talking about purpose. So I have a purpose, and at the same time, I can influence a lot of people. Because at the end, purpose is not what you do. It's what happens to others when you do what you do. So in that definition of purpose is beyond what we think when you think you are in purpose because you're doing what you like or you are accomplishing things. Well, think again, because I'm going to repeat it. Purpose is not what you do. It's what happens to others when you do what you do. So that's the level of purpose, and that's the level of impact on other lives, what we're talking about here. So number 9, it's little what I can do to contribute to the environment challenges. So we keep thinking that what can I do if, what is the government doing for the environmental issues? What's my neighbor doing? We never think about what we can do. And I think you're an expert on this, so it doesn't rely on others. We all can collaborate. That's the current environment. And you know, because you have even more experience than me, that we definitely can contribute to the environment every day with every single thing that we do and with every single product that you use from Nikken. So this is easy to understand for us that we are within the community, but it's not as simple for other people. And this again is related to the other one. We are educated to thrive individually. So there's something that we need to change in the people's minds in order to think this way. So last but not least, number 10, keep doing what I always do. So most people say, I'm gonna keep doing what I always do. Because some people are, I wouldn't say successful, but still they are living a good life, quote unquote, no? So, and you have heard this phrase about if you want different results, you have to think different. Well, let me tell you, in these times, if you want the same results, you have to change. If you have different results, of course you have to change. Because if you change, you don't change now, the world will change you. And again, we have this example right now. Few people thought that I could work at home. I don't like working at home. This is not a job, working from home. Now, a lot of people had to change that belief. So that's why, and since you know that nothing, everything is moving, nothing stays still, so you cannot stay still, just keep doing what you do. If you keep doing what you do, you're going backwards. Because as you know, if you want even the same results, you need to change. So this is number 10, and this is 10 examples. I think you can think of others, of course, but this is the sample that Gustavo mentioned in that conference that he did last, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. So Nikken has the strategies, has
Let me just jump in for a second, Roberto.
Jointly.
Roberto, let me just jump in for a second. Looks like we're going to be going a little bit over time, guys, by about 5 minutes. So if you've got the time you want to stay on, I'm going to continue to record. Go ahead, Roberto. Okay. So what I'm going to talk right now is, and here is when you're going to learn Spanish. No, I'm kidding. This is the how. This is the how in Latin America. It's because I don't have this to translate it. So what they have in Latin America is what they call the plan de influencia. So influencer plan would be the translation. And they built this exactly to solve or to have the ability to apply these new paradigms and maybe some others. But at least these 10, it's perfectly applied in this influence plan or plan de influencia. The idea of this is to really build that community, talk about community, not talk about business, talk about different, how you have, you don't have fixed prices, you have different prices, you can pay whatever you want if you really want to do this. So this is an example, and I'm gonna go very fast on this. This is Mexico, and this is in pesos. So every single person that wants to join their community, they have these kits. So the 5 products that you see on the top,
that we call the investment kits, in order to be an influencer. So what we used to call an independent distributor or the independent consultant, now we call it an influencer. So the idea is, in the first row, in the first line, you can see the public price, so the price that everybody pays. Now, if you want to be an influencer, because I'm not selling you a product, you want this product because you know that this is going to be something that is good for your family. Okay, but most people say, yeah, I cannot pay that money. Remember, nobody's thinking about a business. Nobody's thinking about investing money because they just think about risk. So the question is, how much do you want to pay? Well, pay less. Okay, you want to pay less, you need to do something. You can find, maybe you have right now, 3 people that right now wants this product. 3 people that want this kind of lifestyle, or at least this product, because this is just done with water products, so the water system. So if you have 3 people, 3 families within your family or your friends that want the same as you want, a system, a water system, okay, they can come. And if you have one, you're gonna pay, or you're gonna receive a 20% discount. Or 37 or 63, I'm looking at the first column. So at the end, if you have 3, at the end, rather than paying 4,000 pesos, you're gonna pay 1,700 pesos. And this goes on and on. So with this, first of all, you don't see that the price is fixed. You can decide what you want to pay or what you want to invest. But if you don't pay with money, you pay with influencers in a way. So, and that's the way what we are fostering. We want people not to come to this community because they have the money to pay, because they want what we have and they want to influence others. So if you do that work, I'm gonna compensating you with doing less investment. But I'm not gonna give this to anyone that just want a discount. And that's the old way of thinking. The people that sell, the sales people are going to say, no, don't give this to the people. Give it to me. Give the discount to me, and I can offer a better price to my clients. But what happens in that model? The only one that gains is the seller. So it's not a collaborative entrepreneurship. So that's why we do this. You want the benefit, you need to collaborate in the community. So that's the approach, or that's the way we are approaching people these days in Latin America. And it's working, and it's working very good, because people are not focusing on the prices, are not focusing on the products, but they are focusing on building a community. So we have these five kits to start, and this go on and on. Here's with 3 influencers, but you can have 4, 5, 6, whatever. So Nikken has built this coming out of some data that they put together, and this is almost the last slide that I'm going to show you. So how this plan of influencia started, or how they invented it? Well, they have raw data, that is this, that in the experience of Nikken, with all the strategies, the commercial strategies they have put into place. They have, if you read from bottom to top, the first one is have no promotion. When you don't have a promotion, Nikken sells like 3,000 units per month. The numbers that you see there is the numbers of units of water systems that Nikken sells in a month. So when you sell 3,000 units, you're impacting around 36 families annually, and maybe 150 people. And that's good, because even the kids in those families are going to be believers in the future, and they're going to have these new products on their families as well. Okay, so this is the first one. Nikken Challenge was another program that started running last year in Latin America, is to foster this, to sell more. But again, it was a little bit more focusing on selling rather than building a community. And it works this way. It was intended to be an exponential growth strategy, but look at the numbers. They just sold 4,000 per month. So When you put a promotion, that is the third option, you sell 4,500. So it's not exponential as well. So that's the way they came up with the plan of Influencia. That at the beginning, and I'm telling you this, the beginning was April and May of this year, right in the heart of the pandemic, right in COVID-19. Everybody was talking about all the paradigms that I just talked about, that I don't have money, I don't want this, it's kind of been this. So even in the worst scenario, we managed to sold 6,000 units. Again, it's better than the other ones. It's better that without promotion or with promotion, and even in the worst circumstances, but it's not exponential. So on the top, you're gonna see, I'm gonna skip the plan Influencer projected, and they have this experience of 3-for-2. When they run this promotion, again, in Latin America, former years, it was very successful. Look at the number of units, 26,000 units. But the problem is that you cannot do this every month. This is a promotion. So, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this later. So you can see that the only way to do this is like a combination of the plan of Influencia and a promotion. So that's why they came up with this last program that I showed you, that it's a combination of the Nikken challenge and the plan of Influencia, and also 3-for-2. Because when you do that, you can do it long term. So the idea is to find a strategy that can be all the time, every month. And a promotion, it's not doable every month. Even this one that it says with promotion only run two months out of the whole year. So why they manage is they put together the benefits of a Nikken challenge, the plan the old plan of Influencia, and 3-for-2, put it together in an enhanced plan of Influencia. And then that's the projected plan. So why 3-for-2? And just mention that they just put 15,000 units, not the 26,000. So it was a conservative, it is because it's running right now. It's a conservative target to hit 15,000, but 15,000 looks a little bit more like exponential versus 3,000 that you can see on the bottom. And it's running, it just start running in May. And it's not the 26,000, but it's the 15,000. And why they did this is because the 3-for-2, it was a very successful strategy. Because in this strategy, the customer wins, the influencer wins, and the company wins. The only problem in 3-for-2 is, well, there are several problems. One, you cannot run it every month. And second, this is still fostering selling. Because 3-for-2 is sell 3 and you just pay 2. And remember, that's an old paradigm. I don't want to sell. I want just to find people that want my product. So they put together these 3 strategies and enhance the plan that is called now the new plan of Influencia, or plan of Influencia 3.0, that combines the best of all these strategies. This is running right now in May. Well, in May, it runs very, very, very well. I have numbers that May 2020 was 82% above May 2019 and 70% above April. So it's working, and it's working right now in Latin America, and it conveys exactly the message that we want to convey. And it's really running with all the new paradigms that we think and we suggest that we need to start working with. Okay, so this is the approach. Applying the right paradigms is the new approach. Yep.
Let me jump in here, Roberto, so I can wrap it up in a bow and we can get off the call. Thank you so much, Roberto, for putting together such an amazing presentation, incredibly thorough. This is my second time going through it with you, and you did a better job this time. So very, very impressive. The reason why I wanted you guys to have the benefit of this is twofold. One, because those paradigms are totally relevant right now, especially, and we are in need of a paradigm shift, because that's the only way you change your results. The results change when the paradigm changes. So we have to identify the roadblocks, get them out of the way, start a new paradigm. So there's really, really important information here. The other thing is we're laying a foundation for the changes that I believe are inevitable where Nikken is concerned. For instance, and this is a for instance, don't be running to Nikken and asking. I'm just telling you, for instance, I will be very much encouraging Nikken drop the wholesale price list and go with exclusively a retail price list from where all those different arrangements can come from. And then there's not a question of do you pay wholesale or retail, you pay retail, period. And then there are benefits for behavior, which are the benefits that you're seeing, the discounts that people are getting for behavior. That is the way the system is set up in Latin America, and it's inevitable that we'll go that direction in North America. But I just wanted to give you guys a bit of a heads up and lay a foundation for why it's so logical. Besides the fact that it actually applies to the paradigms from a business standpoint, it does away with some of the optics issues that we've got with the FTC, the rulings there and so forth. You know, if we don't have to concern ourselves with wholesale customers, it's just simply everybody pays what they pay for the price. We validate, substantiate the retail price list. And from there are benefits that go with involvement and participation in the Nikken program. Anything from immediate cash flow to midterm to the long-term big ticket leadership bonuses. So a simpler way to explain Nikken, much more inviting. Anyway, we've taken up as much time as I wanted tonight. If you've got questions that you want to ask next week, I'm going to invite Roberto back to answer some of those questions, and I'll have this recording available as well. So thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for sticking it out to the end. Roberto, again, thanks for doing a brilliant job with this presentation. Thank you. Have a great week, everyone.
Excellent.
Oh, hey, by the way, don't forget, Saturday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, big event. Get your people there. Cheers.